notorious for not doing that.
Mike is on, yeah.
So will we have a meeting on the 13th in September?
I don't believe so, what do we, I mean,
Be the second Wednesday, right?
yeah. Try to help everyone. For the second Wednesday after the township board meeting. When's the
Which they
township?
would have it on, oh, you're right.
Yeah.
They would have it
Would be the sixth then for
the
us.
8th,
Yeah,
so possibly the 20th.
yeah.
I'm gonna be in Europe
Okay,
for these 2 weeks.
don't be doing COVID again, okay? I know,
I told my wife, we're wearing masks on the
I
plane.
don't blame you. I know, I believe it's still raining out there, you know, it's crazy.
It just,
You guys going to Greece again, or?
no, we're gonna fly to Amsterdam,
Okay.
take the Viking cruise down the river.
Oh, okay, that
through
should be
the
cool.
castles, and then we're gonna end up in Switzerland,
Yeah,
spending 3 or 4 days in Switzerland in the Alps, flying back to London.
yeah.
My brother-in-law grew up in London, he's gonna show us around London for 5
Oh,
days.
that sounds like fun. I want to do that Viking cruise, it sounds really cool.
Yeah.
So, you have to let me know on that.
Hopefully there's
What-
no ZBA meetings, because you have to.
Well, just warning you.
Yeah, okay, we are at 7 o'clock, I'm going to call the ZBA meeting to order. Why don't you stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Oh, do we have a flag?
Well, there's a flag out front.
Okay, let's do it that way. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Subject change without notice, I guess. Let's see what I want here. Ms. Fossberg, I'll call roll.
Here.
Mr. LaBelle?
Here.
Mr. Barone?
Here.
Mr. Smith did call, and he said he is family emergency, so be excused. And then, Ms. Hickey?
Here.
Okay, and then we also have a email here from Mr. Gear. It says, please use this notification. I've been able to attend the meeting. I'll be out of town. So hope he's someplace fun, you know, that's not flooding every place, you know. But anyway, moving right along. Okay, we got the roll. We got the pledge of allegiance. The way we conduct our meeting is I'm going to invite the petition up here. They could sign in over there, I mean. Sign in, state your name, and we'll have you reason you're in front of us. And then once we talk to you, we'll bring you back to the township here, and we'll discuss any questions you have. And then we'll open it up to the public. Once the public speaks on it, I'm not going to keep entertaining back and forth the public. Then we'll come back to this board, and we have everything in front of us. We'll move with a decision. We are short 2 members, as we stated earlier, so we need 4 positive votes to get something to pass. Okay, our first item we have is on Miller Court in Chesterfield, ZBA petition 2023, number 4. Please step over to the podium, sign in, and state the reason that you're in front of us this evening. Does that help? Okay. 13, yeah, I know, that was your question, right, yeah. No problem, anytime.
Good evening, my name is Randy Coltrane.
There's a button in the middle.
Here we go. Is that better? Okay, thanks. Good evening. My name is Randy Coltrane. I'm at 49932 Miller Court. And the purpose of the petition is to request a side setback variance. Under R1A, setback guidelines are for 10 feet. And we're like to undergo the process of demoing the home and building a new home on the property. And in order to do so, we're requesting a setback to the north side from 10 feet to 5 feet.
Okay.
And I think you've got my
Your
request,
submittal,
so
yes, we have
yeah,
that information ready, yes.
and I'm here to answer any questions
Thank
you
you.
might have.
Okay, I'm gonna take it out of order. Gary, I'm gonna go to you first. Have they been in contact with you on this matter? They've been working, I'm sorry, they've been working?
Yes.
And any comments you wish to share at this stage?
I do not. They're seeking a 5-foot variance on the one side, and I believe I've had some conversations with some of the neighbors, and they have talked since, and hopefully they've ironed everything out, and we'll see where it goes.
Appreciate it, thank you so much.
Yep.
Mr. Barone, please, any questions?
I guess my concern is only that I did read an email, I believe, from one of your neighbors that said they would like some kind of a restriction to where the house sits presently, not to move closer to the lake, but other than that, I don't have any questions in regards to what you're gonna do, so.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Bell, please, any questions?
Yeah.
Please do, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a couple of questions and a statement. From what I understand, your property is currently zoned R1A, and typically an R1A is a 90-foot lot. But for some reason, some years ago, that area was considered an R1A. So that is my first statement. Secondly is my question to you and to your neighbor to the north. There's going to be construction going on. I'm assuming that you're going to tear down the house that you currently have and the garage that you currently have.
Correct.
Are you putting in a basement?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, there's a basement that exists, so we will keep the basement.
I'm sorry?
There's a basement that exists today,
Uh-huh.
so yes, we are planning to have a basement.
Okay. My question is this is kind of out of the ordinary, but your neighbor to the north, there's going to be instances where construction crews are going to be on his property. First of all, I want to make sure he's aware of that, because it's going to happen, especially if you dig another basement. There's going to be a 2-foot overdig, 2 or 3 foot overdig, which is going to require backfill and things of that nature with equipment. There's going to be some disruption to his property. That is a concern of mine, and as well for the neighbors. Now, have you gone as far as to get any kind of an idea on the elevation of your house compared to the surrounding properties?
No, we have not.
Okay. That's also a concern, you know, where does the water shed? Are you going to be up higher than your neighbors?
My assumption is that's part of the planning process. That has to be part of the CE plan. Again, haven't built a home before. It goes in different steps. This is the first step.
It is the
And
first
those
step.
steps are subsequent.
I was hoping that you already had a plan in place for
I do not have that plan in
that
place.
scenario. You don't?
Because I guess that's predicated upon knowing where the building boundary is going to be.
Okay.
Rick,
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
on your question, every house that is not in a pre-engineered subdivision goes through engineering. So they will make sure the drainage is proper, the elevations aren't higher than the neighbors, and it will be approved through that.
Thank you.
Ms. Fosberg, questions, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Questions I have, you'd already answered one in your preliminary comments. There is existing house that you plan to remove and build a new one,
Yes.
except for utilizing the existing basement? Did you say you're going to keep the basement, or?
We are, boy, I don't understand the word keep. So it has a basement today, and our plan is in the new home to have a basement. It's
Okay.
probably going to match the same footprint.
You probably
I would
changed,
expect.
it doesn't matter, I don't
Right.
care what the answer is, but it sounds like you might move some walls then, type of
Yes.
thing for the basement. It doesn't matter,
Okay.
forget that question. But what, the other ones that I had were, have you seen the letters that the neighbors have sent us? Have they communicated to you their concerns?
Yes, they've communicated their concerns.
There was, sounded like the ones I read, the 5-foot was okay as long as the lake side did not go any closer to the lake than it currently sits.
Correct.
All right, and then, I guess I think that's all I have of you right now. Thank you.
Siki, any questions, please?
My question is regarding the size of the home. So
Yes.
if you were to make it slightly smaller, would you need the variance?
So my home today is 31 feet wide. It's 102 years old. So that's the original dimension. So if I were to recreate the same home, I would absolutely need a variance because it's a 50-foot wide lot. So our plan was to make it as narrow as possible, but yet still functional. 33 feet is the width. I go back, 31 feet is the width of my home. If you add the chimney, which is 2.5 feet, then from a barrier point of view, it's 33.5 feet today. The new home will be 33 feet even.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, I think with everybody, Chair has no questions at this time. If you could step aside, this is a public hearing. Anyone to speak on the issue, please come forward, sign in, and state your reasons why. And make sure you leave the pen and the paper. Thank you. Anybody wishing to speak on it, please do. Thank you. Whenever you're ready, sir.
Okay. Hi, my name's Dan Deere. I live at 49936 Miller Court, the lot adjacent, directly north that you're referring to earlier. I received the notice for the variation in the mail and contacted Randy, and we've had a discussion on it. I think we've come to an agreement. I've met with the other neighbors, Joy, Dashura, George, and Alex, who are all on the same side of the lake, and we're all the immediate neighbors. And so we've had a discussion, and we are all in agreement. We want Randy to build a nice house, the way he would like to build it, right? But there are a few concerns that we have. We expressed those to Randy, and we came to an agreement. I want to make sure that those are understood here and that everybody's in agreement with it. So he is applying for a variation for 5 feet on the north end, right? But I submitted a plan. Have you guys had an opportunity to see that letter and the thing? Is that how the variation would be granted or approved? Where it would be 5 feet where the garage is at and then 7 feet from where the house is at? Because that accommodates his needs.
Do you have that in front of you there?
I do.
Does one of you gentlemen wish to speak on that real quickly? Yeah, go, I mean, I just see if you make any comments on that, too.
Do you want me to bring it up?
We have copies here. We have copies here. Does anybody on the board have any questions or comments on this? There you go. Mr. Barone, why don't you take a look at that? Usually pretty good with our construction projects and have a good, better grasp on some of that stuff.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Please do, thank you.
Reviewing the drawing that has been set in front of us, so the home would have the proposed change to what has been requested as the variance now, or the setback is 7 feet rather than 5 feet where the house is at. And I believe that would also, because there's a red line going through the drawing, that would include the breezeway.
Yes.
So the breezeway and the home would both be at 7 feet, and then the garage would be at, the garage and, I think it was a golf room or something, is going to be at 5 feet. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. I would expect that the applicant needs to agree to that as well. Thank you.
Did you have anything to add?
My question just is to you, you talked about that with him? Yes, we have. Okay.
Okay, and that was all you had?
No, and then a couple
Okay,
more
let's
ones.
keep going, thank you.
And then we've already discussed this agreement that the home does not move any closer to the lake than the current home. And I think it's already been mentioned, the topography would not be raised higher than the adjacent lots to the one on, his topography would not be higher than my lot and also on Joy's lot, which is on the south end, who's sitting right there. So,
I would have one comment to that.
okay.
Ordinarily, when we bring these when these items come in front of us, it's normally, I believe it's 6 houses each way. You're only wanted in the park. What I'm saying, so that's kind of how we do these where in the past, where there's some that are further south of you. And the idea is to do exactly what you're saying, is to not block the neighbor either way. But in my, I actually helped develop Lighthouse Cove that's out in front of you guys. So in my background, it's always best, A, to talk to your neighbors, but B, you wanna, you know, I kinda get where you're at, but I also understand if he does wanna move it towards the lake, it's more of a setback to the lot than it is to anything else, what the city allows, as opposed to being dictated by one or other neighbors.
No, I understand that, but all of us neighbors have discussed it, and we're all in agreement that none of us feel that the variation is even required, because you can build a house the same size it is. However, we would like him to build a house a little more desirable, right? And I would, so we want to help him, we want to be neighborly. And I think that's what we all did, we all came to an agreement, but the stipulation was that the house does not move further forward, because that is a serious degradation of view for all of us.
How
Right?
does your house compare to the house
They're
two doors down or three doors down? I didn't go out behind the houses or in front of the houses.
All the homes are in a line.
Are they? That's kind of, I mean, I did look at it from the front, or from the street side, so you can't
So-
tell that because all the houses
Right.
are different depth, but.
Right. And we've discussed that, and I don't think
Sure.
that's an issue with Randy, right?
Sure.
So, but we wanted just to make sure that
I
that's
just,
a
for my own,
stipulation.
I want, so you understand where I come from when I talk, that I have to take into consideration what the township says more than sometimes what a neighbor says or not.
So just to summarize, all of us neighbors are supporting his variation request according to the drawing that has been presented, right? With the understanding that the house will not move forward. Okay?
That can be made as part of the motion, a condition of the variance. You can add that if you want to.
Well, just for my point would be, it's still 5 feet because the garage is still 5 feet, but we can stipulate that it's as drawn.
Okay.
You're in agreement with that? It's still gonna be a 5-foot variance because your garage is still gonna be 5 feet from the property line. Right. Okay,
With the home being at
7.
correct.
Okay, you all set then, sir?
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you so much. Is a public hearing, anyone in the public wish to address, please come up, ma'am, sign in, and state your comment at this stage. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Joy Alico, and I live in the property I co-own with my sister, Dashari Alico, is 49926 Miller Court, south of Randy's new project. Like Dan has stated, and a lot of us were really, really happy about Randy putting in his new home. We are, though, as Dan said, very concerned about losing that property line. Now, I've been in that home for over 30 years, and or I should say, almost 30 years, but in the area for that long, and I know some of the generational owners, which George and Alex, who are part of our neighborhood there in the, what I say, line. I don't know what the Chesterfield rules are, but I've been around the United States, and I just came from Cape Cod. And these lines are honored generationally. So it's a preliminary drawing. Randy said he's going to stick to that. We're hoping that is the case. So again, I don't know what the rules and regulations are, but we would like you to be transparent with us as this moves on. And we want to feel that our homes are, happy, and we got a great neighborhood going, and we want to keep it that way. And Randy's been great since I travel a lot, so I come and go, but we only want the best. The one thing is, one is the view, and that generational line we maintain for our community. The next thing that's very important to us is the topography and the elevation. As I drove here, there's nobody to say what the rains have just done to things I haven't seen for 30 years. And that just was a heavy rain. So I don't know if people are aware, but Dan's property is higher than Randy's slightly, and Randy's is higher than ours. And there is a little bit of a slope going. One of our questions Dosh and I have is, are we going to make sure we don't have a lake or river? And there's grading, but also whatever dirt or pounding and machines come back in, and now discovery of a basement, what is going to change and will it affect our foundations and our structures? So what is going to be done about that? We understand also the little we know about the code because we're not lawyers. And the standard is that any new project will take on to make sure any erosion of that project does not occur. So Dosh and I are getting ready to retire. We aren't looking to get any additional major expenditures for the cost of a new construction, nor the permitting or any regulatory costs to put that in. And certainly, we don't want any hardship to know the next rain, as I'm now shocked, a couple doors down from us, tell me, Dan, if you didn't see it, there's one of our neighbors walking up and down his lake because we have a slope. So if we're going to start this, we need to really know what the rules are around topography, maintaining our land so that all of us have a great, beautiful place that we never have to worry about. Thank you.
Thank you for coming out. Once again, it's a public hearing. Anyone from the public wish to speak on it, please come forward. Once again, anyone from the public wish to speak on it. Let the meeting minutes show we turned down from no longer comments from the public. We'll bring it back here. Can you help me out with the letters we received? Let's get a little synopsis on that. I usually.
Just a summary.
Yeah, summary, yeah. We did get some communications from the community on that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There was a communication from a neighbor. His name is George Tolvich, and his address is 47275. I'm sorry, that's here. Reference. He doesn't have his address on here. In any event, my family moved out Chesterfield Township 40 years ago. Like each property, our property sidelines back for more sufficient property. However, it is important to welcome our neighbors. Therefore, I would agree to give the variance. So he is in favor of it.
Super, thank you.
The second one is from an Alex and Janine Tolvich, the same people. Must have been a copy. The third one is from Dan and Lori Deere. I believe that's the gentleman who spoke this evening, and he spoke on this already. The next one is from the last name is Aliko, Aliko, that's you? I'm sorry. You spoke on this already this evening. Thank you. And the last one is from,
Big enough type set for you.
it's from Joy Aliko.
Joy Aliko, yes. So, yes.
Same one again.
Really good. Okay, good. The only thing that the chair has to add. Yeah, yes. We're full aware of that. Thank you so much. We appreciate people coming out and speaking on this. You know, part of the obligation of the ZBA is to keep the township ordinance in place, but part of it is try to move the township along too, and have neighbors discuss this. And it seems like the petitioner has been out to his neighbors and discussing and willing to work with it and willing to work with the township, and that's really that's what we really want to see. So I really don't see too much a problem with this. Anything you wish to add at this time, sir? No. Thank you. Anything for a right?
Mr. Chair, if I may, the question was asked if in fact the petitioner was in agreement with the 7-foot setback from the house and the breezeway and the home. There was a head nod. Is there a chance that we can have him sign off on something like that so we have it for our record?
It can just be put in the motion.
Can a
Yeah,
motion,
we
or
put it in a motion.
this is the plan we're talking about,
It
right?
is, it is.
We can have,
It will be part of the motion.
Part of the
Part of the
motion.
motion, part of the variance. If
Part of the
something-
variance,
If something's
yes.
applied for differently, then it won't get approved.
yeah,
I have to approve it based on the variance,
That is
based on the
correct.
condition, so you're gonna put it.
But I
in.
don't want to make a motion if he's not in agreement with it.
well, it's up to the petitioner to. Is there a question? Yes, are you agreeing with this is what has been presented? I'm agreeing that this is our plan. Okay. Yes. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you,
That was my point.
with the
Thank
rest.
you.
Okay, that's our question.
Everything's recorded so that we know you said yes. That's
Well,
what they're.
it's recorded, but we also need it within the minutes too. And we will entertain that question later in the meeting too. Okay, we had comments from the petitioner again, from my right, from my left, and this will be made of the permanent record.
I do have one just quick
Please do,
comment.
thank
Just
you.
for, on your questioning about the elevations. The Corps of Engineers dictates, for the most part, what the elevation of his house has to be, what his brickledge has to be. It's changed quite a bit. I'm not sure. His neighborhood, floodplain. Yeah, okay, that was my thing, is if they're in the floodplain, then his
He's not in the
elevation would have been possibly raised, but if he's not in it, which I'd have to look at I don't have the floodplain in front of me, then you're fine. But that would be the only stipulation where there would be a raising of any property that would still have to be approved by our engineering.
I'll make sure it's not on the floodplain, Sam.
Okay.
Good, good. Okay, if there's no further questions, the chair will call for a motion. Maker of the motion, please state your approval or denial comments. Also reference this document here too, so we have it in the meeting minutes. And what's the board's pleasure?
Mr. Chairman, if I may, I'd
Please do.
like to make a motion to approve a variance of ZBA 2023-04, located at 49932 Miller Court. The one deviation, I'm sorry, there's two items I'd like to add to the variance. First of all, there has been a new drawing presented to us this afternoon and this evening. On that drawing, it depicts a 7-foot setback on the north side for the home and for the breezeway, and a 5-foot setback for the garage. And secondly, as part of my motion, I want to make sure that the house does not exceed or does not go beyond the existing setback from the lake that exists at this time.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have support?
Support.
All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is granted. Make sure you go and talk to the building department before you start any type of construction. Thank you so much. Motion has been approved. Thank you. Send it this way. Well. You're done. You're done. You can leave. We'll see ya. Have a good evening, folks. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. And if I could get you to continue your conversations down the hallway, I appreciate it. Thank you. And you're welcome to leave anytime. Thank you. You can leave. You don't have to stick around with us. Did you want to talk to him real quick?
If you're staying,
Okay, sure. Okay, no problem. Old business. Do we have any old business? We do have a letter here. I don't know if everyone has seen this, from the Brownings. And it also corresponded from Christine Anderson. I'm gonna pass that around to people, and you could take a look at that real quick. And did you guys want to talk real quick? Because I want everyone to read that letter first, or at least Prowse do it. Gary?
Do you want the storyline on this one?
Please do,
You know,
yes.
They were denied.
Yes.
They applied. I denied them. They wrote me a letter saying, why are you denying? And then I said, you have to go to ZBA for the variance.
Right.
So then you guys denied them. Now he sent me another letter, and instead of addressing it, I just sent it directly to our attorney.
Okay.
Which that's why you've got the attorney letter.
Right, yes, okay. We'll pass it through. I want everyone to really take a look at that before. If you want to talk to the homeowner right now, Gary?
No, it's actually Kathy. She wants to talk to me after the meeting.
Okay, no problem, okay, sorry. You're the one always talking to everyone, I figured it was just you, you know. I know.
So what are we asking in regards to this letter? What are they?
It's just
Making you aware.
making
Okay.
aware that legal action may be, you know, against us, which is, if we deny, which is fine,
That's her only recourse is circuit court. So
yes.
she can go to circuit court and that takes it out of all our hands.
Yep,
Okay.
okay.
But I did get it addressed legally, and that's the best way to handle it.
That'll go right into another issue I have this evening, so I didn't even know this was coming down the pikes. You people are gonna be surprised, but either with psycho or psychic, one or the other. I don't know. So what's going on in the community? Anything exciting you tell us? So much going on. There's always a lot going on. Construction, people building and making money, it's great.
Industrial building coming, possibly a Chick-fil-A, hopefully.
Hopefully Chick-fil-A?
5 people don't want it, so.
But 25 people do, I don't know.
But 99% of the population.
Yeah, I know.
I feel sorry for you guys sometimes.
Yeah, I know.
We talk about planning, they got
Yeah.
angry.
Angry folks. Okay, let me put that back there. Okay, good. And we'll continue on the business. I guess we're at meeting minutes. And I have a motion to make. And after I make that motion, I got a couple handouts to justify the reason of my motion. And to be honest with you, I did not even know this was coming down the bikes. I make a motion to table the meeting minutes and send them to the township attorney for their review on format and content. With the question, if this written minute is submitted to defend the township's position on actions taken by the ZBA. My motion is to table and send our meeting minutes to the township attorney. I don't believe there, here's the meeting minutes. Do I have support on my motion? Support. Okay, support. We will discuss it. Did you get 2 yet or not? I got 2. You got 2? No, I mean number 2. Page 2, I'm sorry. Page 2? Page 2.
So Marv, you're asking me to send the minutes to Chris Anderson to review them?
Yes.
Okay.
And I will justify the reason I'm doing this.
Well, it's actually going to be fairly quick because she's already aware of the whole,
Well, you know,
situation. Every
it's
letter that I've
not,
gotten
it's
has went to
not
her.
because of this issue. I did not know about this issue this evening.
Okay.
Before coming to the meeting. Our meeting minutes have been really an issue for a while. And I have a problem the way this one is really being presented. And, you know, I'm just gonna go into my spiel on this. I looked at it, we go to number 1, this is out of the zoning board approval packet. And if you take a look at it, it says meeting minutes. And if we pop down to Open Meeting Act, MCL 15-269, it says requirements for the meeting should show. And if we take a look at our meeting minutes, it should show date, time, beautiful, place, excellent, members present, members absent, and any action taken. But if we go down there, it says, a general meeting should contain enough detail so that the person that's not present can fully understand the meeting. Now, I did give everyone a copy of the meeting minutes, and, you know, just being a layperson, taking a look at it, I mean, is it a little bit hard for us to follow along? I know we have a standardized format here, but I kind of question if we really have enough information in this meeting minutes that has been presented at the meeting this evening. We go over to the next page, and it says, who spoke at the meeting in general contact with his or her comments. Now I take a look at, the petitioner was Kevin Browning. Did he say anything at the meeting minutes? I know we're recording and videotaping it, but is that submissible in court? Gary, please.
What I would say is give Jonathan a call tomorrow, because I guess he has had conversations with our attorney regarding minutes, and they're supposed to be brief and simple. Our minutes have been too long, but.
If they've been
give him a
too,
call.
I mean, you know, all I'm asking is legal counsel get
Yep.
back to us.
And we'll take-
That's it.
we'll take a
That-
look at it.
That's it, you know, and I'm just reasoning, I'm not pulling this out of the sky.
Yeah.
And I'm not
gotcha.
pulling about future discussions, okay?
We'll take a look at it.
Yeah, okay. And if you go down farther, it says, one of the reasons meeting minutes are especially important due with the approval process is ZBA has made a decision. After noting earlier, there is no level of community involvement. So basically, they can't take it to the township board and appeal it. It needs to go to circuit court, which we talked about. So we can't cry to the township board. Also, the Zoning Enable Act describes that there's going to appeal, which we have talked about in the other one. And it also goes farther and says, according to the essence of the ZBA provided, substitute records is record presented. So basically, the way I'm understanding is, when Sievert or Christina goes into court, this is what she is defending, this meeting minutes by itself. That was my understanding of reading it, and that's been my understanding of past. I mean, granted, we may have too much information in there, but the question is how is the court gonna look at it and say, did you even talk to this person? I don't see that information in there. And to take that one step farther, with the other handout, the ZBA meetings on demand or frequently scheduled. We could have special meetings to review them and approve our minutes. So, you know, may not have any agenda items, but we can come here and approve our minutes. We have done that in the past. It's not a paid thing, but we're not getting rich off this anyway. So, you know, I want to speak and know that we keep these meeting minutes flowing, even without minutes, because really, once they are not, until they are approved, they're not part of the documents. And if we take it one step farther, we go to the final page on this. It says really complete records should be legal, and records should be background needed to defend the decision for the ZBA, as cinema records of encouragement to needed for, I'm going to summarize, effective record in the future. And relying on someone's good memory is not enough. So I believe we have a motion to send it to Mr. Sievert's office and have them review, get back to us, and see what their opinion on these meeting minutes before we approve them, and before counsel needs to walk into court or whatever and present the township's argument. So I have a motion to table, send to the township attorney, and have the letter come back to us, and then we can move and approve the meeting minutes. And it has been supported. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
A motion, no nay? Okay. Gary, if you could check with Jonathan, if he could send it over to his office and get an opinion on it, I'd appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Okay, any comments from the floor? Anybody else wish to address us on items? Okay, anything else? We have talked about all the building like crazy. I think we want to go home. And that usually has a motion there.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
All in favor, say by saying aye. Aye. Stand adjourned.